Welcome back to the summer tour for the Eastern Europe region. We got two brand new teams. Going to be Nemiga taking on the boys on One Move. Currently, One Move undefeated so far, 2-0. Of course, it's not too far into the season, but definitely a good start for them. Nemiga, well, they're looking to try and call them their way back. They're towards the bottom of the table with a 1-2 series count. They're going to be playing 4 series overall in week 1, so a lot of games for this team.
I'm just having a look how the rest of the games are spread out as well. Like, they've got 1 in week 2, and then they've got the last 2 days. So, big break. I'm not sure if they're playing some third parties, but this is where they should be focusing a lot of their attention. On the plus side, you know, in one of those losses, they did take a game off of 9 Pandas. So, you know, that's a little bit for them to hang their hat on. It was game number 1 as well, so potentially could have even done it in straight sets. But One Move, I think, is a very... It's a good challenge for them. You know, One Move is a solid team, but they're not perfect. You know, they can make mistakes. They can get in their shell a little bit, and maybe they can be a little bit too one note. No pun intended. Like, it is very much just a full-on run-at-you style with Munkushi playing much more of the, you know, sit back and farm.
Yeah, because for One Move, they versed, Hydra and Kumni House, so... Definitely two of the teams that you're expecting towards the bottom middle of the pack, so they still yet to verse Bet Boom, Spirit, the likes of that Pandas. So for them, at least they haven't been, like you said, they haven't really been too tested. We'll see if Nemiga is going to be that test. Of course, it's a nice little match versus the previous team for Ankrat in particular. I know he's been on One Move for almost a year now, but of course was the previous position 2 for a very, very long time on Nemiga.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you know, and it is a lot to move through. And I mean, for One Move, these are just the games that you absolutely have to win. You know, they're the ones that you should be just writing down in the book if you have any chance of even snatching 3rd place to go to the major, right? So I think a win, it's not like negotiable. There's no honorable losses for a team like them that have just always been so close yet so far. You know, like basically 4th or 5th in every single tour that they've been in for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's just the teams that are more than likely going to be positioned below you in the table. There's no excuse. You got to get the wins. It's as simple as that with how punishing DPC has been for a long time, at least in particular with the regions. Like, you cannot lose versus these teams, and you need to win versus teams you're not expected to as well. But we do have a draft underway. We already got all the bans done and dusted. Any kind of surprising bans between the two?
Maybe first phase Timbersaw is a little surprising. You know, I was just watching it in China. Somnus was actually popping off on the hero, but, you know, there are still counters to it, right? And I think it isn't something that you necessarily want to be first phasing. Maybe just the fact that the Nemiga have first pick, that they're going to be able to potentially grab it towards the end. It's something that Malrine plays incredibly well. It's something that Vaja plays quite well too. So I can see the justification for it. Really don't hate these two either. You know, just more stuff to be able to be really strong in teamfight, and that's exactly how Nemiga are going to look to counter it, just with some teamfight of their own. Freezing Field, don't really care about it. RP doesn't really matter if you RP a Pango when he's rolling through. It'll do a little bit of damage now, and I guess maybe if CM just lands a Freezing Field over the top of it too, could be a little bit annoying considering you are taking 50% damage during it, as opposed 50% magic damage during it, as opposed to the 0 as previous. But I still want to see some sort of other way to be able to deal with this Pangolier. I personally like, if you're not going to go a ranged hero because those outside of the Deucer, and I don't want to see a Deucer here because Pango's a diffusal buyer, I like Monkey King just because you can lay down the Wukongs and then people can kind of take shelter from the Rolling Thunder inside of it. But we'll see. We'll see what they choose to go for. Monkey CM, though, is such a crazy strong safe lane, though.
That it is indeed. So already you've got the Bloodseeker banned out to try and protect, of course, around on the Pango, which we did see them play. They first phased it in 2 out of the 3 games versus Pandas. I think game 3, Pandas even first phase banned it, trying to put some respect on Melran's Pango, so of course able to get some comfort there. A real surprise for Nemiga. I feel like you'd probably say both sides pretty happy with their opening first phase.
I would say so. You know, this is exactly how you want to be using the first pick just to pick up a hero that you're incredibly comfortable on.
Radiant
Plenty of
team
chances to be able to ban out the big counters to it. It provides team fight, which they were sorely lacking versus what one move had at the time. So yep, totally fine. And I've already mentioned the strength of the mag CM. Solid in lane, solid in game, really good team fight, decent pick off too. It's just a good balanced opening phase. I'm just happy that we see no more Doom basically ever. Like, if I see a team let it through when you don't have first pick, I'm like, but why though? It's so good. It's easily the best hero of the patch.
I'm trying to think other heroes I would even put next to him.
There's nothing in the same ballpark, dude.
You reckon?
It's like, you know, you see those tier lists and there's like, you know, S and S plus and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, Doom is S triple plus, and then the next hero up there is S, and then like S plus and S plus plus. They're empty because that's how far ahead Doom is.
And he didn't get nerfed too heavily. The crazy thing.
Only Infernal Blade.
So dumb. So dumb, actually. I just... The fact... it's still... What's your read on auras? Maybe I should ask that question like later tonight or maybe like in a week or so, because it feels like we haven't casted enough games just yet.
I think they're in a decent spot, personally.
Okay.
Like, they're strong, but it's not one of those things where you're just straight up unkillable if you get all of the auras. I think the things that are really starting to pick up in popularity now are things like the Parvis, you know, that just let you stay out on the map, that let you avoid taking some damage. Like, even... It's going to sound like such a niche case, but like a support with Tranquil Boots, if someone's going to attack you from range that doesn't have any magic damage, just pop the Parvis on you, you don't take any damage and you can keep moving away. You know, it doesn't mean, like a Blink Dagger is not going to break. Just things like that, you know, where you can actually still have that mobility and you could do it from such a far distance too. It's really good value.
It's a dumb item. I'm surprised it didn't get nerfed. I think the stats are way too overtuned as well. Good call on the monkey.
And it can flex as well. It's something that that Gilgear is capable of playing. It's obviously not something he's super comfortable, as comfortable with as, you know, some of his other real signatures, but he is capable of it.
10 seconds remaining.
So the one even benefit with the Monkey Mag is that it even gives you maybe more of an incentive to go for like an Echo Diffusal, Echo Deso, like whatever you want, just a more active build, because you will have the power to keep up in farm. There's always like the consideration of what way you want to go. So this could be a very aggressive one move lineup. It's not going to get in the face early. Very cool. I am seeing this hero a little bit more in like high level pubs on streams. People are attempting the jug. I know Yotoro is really trying to find out how strong this hero is.
Ramses is too.
Is it 16 pick material though? Like, is this hero that good? Do you see like value against the heroes that one move, the three heroes they have currently?
For me, not personally. Like, against a Magnus, he could just skewer away. Against a Monkey King, he could drop the Wukongs, and then you don't really care about the Omni Slash. And I feel like the shard on the Juggernaut isn't as good either anymore. So I think it's you get a 50% chance or something like that. No, there was something that changed about it.
What? Wait, what, sir? The shot on the jug?
Yeah, like something changed about it. I can't remember what it was though. Like something about every single, like it doesn't proc every single time or something like that. I'm not sure.
I'm just going through all the 7.3.
I swear I saw something like that there. But even just like, again, for all the team fights, it's a little awkward. Like it doesn't feel like this Juggernaut massively counters what they've got.
I have no idea what you're speaking about. I don't see anything about that. I think you're tripping.
Maybe I was dreaming.
So I think, at least with the second phase from Nemiga, it seems like a pretty cool response to the Magnus. You've got the telekinesis, which is what we saw from PSG LGD at TI, of course, for Spirit, and the Juggernaut with the instant Blade Fury, because you can react in the upgraded Echo. I can't remember what it's called right now.
Harpoon.
Harpoon, thank you. So maybe there's a little bit of value with the Blade Fury as well, being able to react. It's going to force Mag that you have to RP the Juggernaut and have to eventually get a BKB if you're going to be playing off the back of the skewers.
Maybe they wanted just a Manta builder as well. You know, up against a CM, it feels kind of nice. Up against the Puck, it's alright too. Certainly a possibility.
It's a pretty goddamn good puck game though overall. One of the better ways to be able to control the Pango. It's not a free game. It is not a free game. They can kill him, like telekinesis into blast off from techies and Pango or Juggernaut being nearby to be able to provide the damage. But
you can catch the puck, but can you convert it into a kill? I think is the big thing.
And with what he provides one move, it's just a little bit of extra control. So you've got a lot of value out of the Wukongs and the Frostbite now with the Cold to hold them in place. Like, you really just wanted a hero to go first, right? Mag is a great counter initiator. Monkey King can struggle with starting fights. Now you have the puck that's able to do that.
For sure. And I really feel like even just with the puck, we've been talking about a few of these buff up items. You know, Magnus, it feels like a pretty decent Crimson Guard game for me this time around. It really is going to nullify a lot of the effects of the Omni Slash. Swashbuckle, not going to do that much. It's a Magnus, so not a strength hero anymore, but still one that has pretty decent strength gain to it. So I feel like it's going to be a good Crimson game. That's going to protect the puck. CM's probably going to go Parvis. That's going to protect the puck. It just feels like there's so much that's going to be able to enable her. So what now do you pick to be able to actually convert that kill? Is it a game where you go something like, I don't know, a Slardar or something like that? Just something a little bit out of the ordinary? They're still thinking that it might be not a position 1 Monkey King. So it's something else that might be looking to come around, and I can sort of see why. It would have been a pretty decent Faceless Void game.
Yeah, look at one moves bends as well. They've gotten rid of the Tiny. I believe Vajra is a very high Pango, if I remember correctly. So maybe there's a lot of flex potential. Would you like them to move the Pango and maybe go for a mid laner that counters the puck a little bit more?
I think Pango does fine enough against the puck though, right? Like, you just swashbuckle, you got low armor, life is pretty hard. You might go like an early-ish Blightstone on the Pango, and then really puck's just down to 0 armor pretty damn quickly. I don't think you need to switch it up too much. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? I think for Nemiga, it's just they need something else that's going to be able to frontline outside of the Pango, because you get a bit of information about it, right? You kind of trickle into fights, at least until you've got that Blink Dagger for yourself. So what's it going to be? Is it going to be the Slardar that I was wanting? Is it going to be, I don't know, a Bat Rider or something like that, just to be able to, you know, have a little bit of a counter, like you plus Techies is able to get most kills once you've got the ultimates available? Can drag out a Wukongs even if Monkey pops the BKB, stuff like that.
It's not an easy pick though, right? Because you don't really know if the Monkey's going to be carry or not. Like, they're still even covering their tracks, getting rid of a Sky just in case. So it's not going to be easy for Vaj to kind of blind
power
pick
a second pick, man. I'm telling you, it's just so far superior in my eyes. And, well, let's see what they're going to be able to do with it. Of course, the best response. So there's no real value in saying what one move is going to pick yet, is there? I really feel like it's just going to be whatever they feel counters best. If they feel like that's the Monkey King, then they'll just stick with the Monkey King because of the reasons that we were saying before. Bunch of armor feels pretty good against a Juggernaut and a Pangolier. And the lane, if it's good enough, they'll be like, yeah, sure, see a Monkey King wins most lanes. Getting rid of the Veno, though.
10 seconds remaining.
Monkey doesn't hate playing against the Veno, and Veno isn't exactly speedy. So when you've got slows, it can make the lane very hard, and of course the lifesteal that you get off the Jingu Mastery can make things a little bit easier for yourselves.
And what are they going to pick? I'm trying to work out what they need. Let's see. What do they go? Right.
Okay.
So you got a range hero now to potentially play into the Monkey, if that is going to be the Monkey 1. I've been seeing this played a little bit more as well in some pubs. People are attempting to see how strong the Death Prophet feels at the moment. One move, their response. It's going to be Mirana. Gilgi's Mirana that we get to see, so it looks like Monkey over to the 1. Half-Life going to be playing the Magnus as well. How do we like the last phase from either side? Do we feel like it gives a big enough advantage to feel like one team maybe has a better lineup compared to the other?
I mean, anytime I see a Gilgir Monkey King, I'm always very, very... sorry, not Monkey King, Mirana. I'm always very, very happy. I think most of the time you don't love to see like this double-ranged hero in either of the side lanes, but I think if they were banking on the fact that this is going to be a Monkey King 1, double range is pretty much the way to go, right? You're not going to get value out of that Jingu, so it's going to be more on point of maybe Munkushi puts more points into the Primal Spring to combine together with Panto, and even with the just a point in the Spirit Siphon, it's not going to be enough to be able to make yourself survivable. So we'll see, we'll see. I'm preferring one moves draft at this point, but I can see, like, if Malrine pops off, which she has the capability to, if Violent is able to somehow get onto the backlines and deal with a Magnus, then I can see them handling this one.
Yeah, I think for me, there's just a lot of question marks for Nemiga. Like, how does the Jug go? This is a carry that we really haven't seen in a long time. How's a Death Prophet going to be able to play? I do think DP should have a pretty good lane, but are you going to be able to excel? Like, what's even the item build? Do you go back to what we saw couple months ago? Wasn't too long with that kind of Greaves route. We saw some of the mid builds were a little bit different with like Sanjin Kyron playing very aggressively, so we'll see. I think one moves maybe looks just a little bit easier to execute. I just a lot of question marks on Nemiga, but it's just because I haven't really seen the heroes as recently.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with one move as well, we might be able to talk about once we get into the game, right? I think we just need to talk about like who's going to be the ones making the first move. But before then, we've got a quick video on EGB before we get into the action.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
Prepare for battle.
It's a quick smoke as well. We talked about a bunch of things that didn't change in the patch with like Doom and all that sort of stuff. I'm still tired of smoke being usable pre-0 minutes.
I was looking pretty even. One move slightly favored over Nemiga, TGB, but very, very close. I mean, maybe this first engagement decided one way or the other.
Can they catch CM? Is it a bait?
That's a scary high ground, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think at least the one thing I'm liking with the smokes is that we're getting a lot of, like, 0-minute fights before the Horn, because of how goddamn value First Bloods are at the moment.
I guess. But you would also have that potentially with, like, two teams running into each other without the value. I think Jug should be fine. Well, now you don't have Frost Nova to be able to secure the first range creep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're like, no, we can't go up those stairs either.
Does he see him? Yep, they see Vajra. I mean, they have that ward still set up, so they're well aware that Nemiga swing on over. Another ward's going to get placed here. A lot of emphasis. They're going to be able to set up for the arrow so bad. In some danger, trying to set up for the Jingu stacks, but the side step from Munkushi didn't want to continue on forward. In fact, it's going to be Ankrat that still leaps on over. So the first blood's going to be secure, but the puck will... Oh, he's probably going to go down?
No.
Okay, verify.
But I mean,
activate.
do you want to go into the lane like this, though, is the other question, right? Like, he's going
I think he wanted to die.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get some of this experience from the lane, but you've already got one melee creep denied. Ankrat just needs to get back. He's already used 2 tangos.
Oh, he's got a bottle on the car. Okay.
Okay, worth.
At least he's got that one to work with early on. I mean, we're speaking about the importance of that first blood. Where'd the bounties go as well? Was 3, it looks like, for one move. So first blood along with multiple bounties. We do have a early tri lane, but looks like So Bad's just going to make his way up to top. So not crazy.
I'm not crazy about, like I was talking about it before, right? Against 2 ranged heroes, I really am not totally certain of the value that a point in Jingu Mastery is going to provide. Like, was it entirely just to go for that first blood, potentially? You know, maybe. They had a lot of slows and stuff, but again, with that Frostbite leveled up, but not the Crystal Nova, you've had, I believe, 2 range creeps denied already in this lane, so the lineup that should be level 2 is actually suffering a little bit to be able to even just stay in the lane on the CM.
Yeah, heavily agree. I also think I've been seeing more Boundless. Just, I mean, you can use 3 stuns, which is really nice for your supports to be able to trade. If you chuck out a stray stun onto the enemy 4, can even help secure range CS, but of course maybe Munkushi felt like he needed Jingu for the for the first blood, but
And we just see the difference. Like, if he's level 2 there on the Monkey King, like, he just got it, but that was a kill on Hellstorm, 100%.
yes,
No idea what that Into the Breach voice line is.
I don't know. Yeah, no, don't ask me. I'm not gonna be able to do much.
Looks Swedish, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's see how the side lane's gonna go. We've got, of course, the Jugger hero we don't see too often, and then the Magnus that's really rising in popularity. It's kind of been like that Vanguard Echo into the upgraded Echoes Afterlife, putting some pressure onto Violent. In particular for the Magnus this game, are we wanting any diversion with his item build than what kind of is meta at the moment?
I could see some value in him going into, like, just the classic Greaves into the Crimson Guard. I really wouldn't hate to see him go down that sort of route, just because, again, he needs to be the one that they're sort of rallying around. The thing that I was talking about before we got into this game was that Nemiga, they've got a very... I know you mentioned that it's a little easier, perhaps, for one move to, like, take fights and stuff, but it's not exactly easy for them to push objectives. That's where Nemiga have the advantage off the back of his Hexacism. One move basically need to win a fight before they can do that, whereas Nemiga, as long as the lane's pushed in, they can put some map pressure on at any time.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, that was always really the big advantage of this Death Prophet, right? You just pick it up early. I mean, even the Beastmaster as well. You have this new offlane hero that's just able to already tick off that pushing potential. And I mean, it's always important to be able to get those towers early, open up the map, get the farm. Want to make those rotations to find the kills. So we'll see how those early Exos are able to come into play for Vajra and Nemiga.
It's definitely a Greaves game, though, for Vajra. Like, just, again, survivability around the offlaner feels good. Having another source of mana to make sure you've always got enough to cast your Spirit Siphon is good. A little bit of armor as well, good. And just the ability to be able to break out of things like the Frostbite, to be able to not be silenced by the puck, feels great.
Okay, there we go. I tried to see the patch changes for the Death Prophet. I don't know why they weren't coming up for me, but I got to see now in the game. And dude, Exo getting buffed up by 5 seconds is... What is that buff, man? That's a huge increase. Top lane Afterlife. Hang on. Whoa. What's going on here? A deep dive under the tower. Violent's going to be able to get a huge kill into the Magnus.
Nicely done, and anytime you go for those deep dives, as long as it's something that's going to give you support a little bit of that extra mana items, means you can just drop the healing ward and be a-okay by the time he comes back to the lane. Again, early on, Blade Fury has such a long cooldown that you're really not going to be looking to go for any sort of kill the next level.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Nicely done.
It's a big deal, though. No boots for a Jug who wants to be going for kills, especially onto a Magnus that's got a skewer, especially onto a Mirana that has the leap to be able to use. Very, very significant to be able to take away that additional output.
Both these mid laners are with Melran and Aincrad very, very reliant on that first power rune. Would we like to see supports put some emphasis in the upcoming seconds to try and secure this?
Just seeing how close Afterlife is to his Vanguard. I mean, he's only about 100 or so gold away, so maybe if he gets the next couple of creeps, he might have the freedom to be able to go for that, but the lane's going to be just pushed up perhaps a little bit too far. It's going to be a ballsy move, but I think Gilgear just really wants to back up the decent start that Anchorat's had so far. So let's see if Nemiga recognize this, and it's actually going to be so bad making the rotation through. You don't have the same kill potential just as in a 1v1 matchup with this Jug v Magnus. You really did need the Rubik there.
Ain't just so bad, baby. It is every single support coming mid. We are about to have a brawl. We got Coil at the ready, Rolling Thunder at the ready as well. So both mid laners strong with their level 6s. Going to come down to who's going to be able to execute them. Zankrat that leads out first with the core is going to be able to secure the regen as well. So even though you do get this regen, there is a bit of a window now. You know Core's on cooldown, so maybe Melrin can make a rotation to the side lane, and it will be difficult for Puck to respond to that.
Yeah, it seems like he just wants to try and shove the wave out first. That's why Anchorad's doing his best to be able to push that back the other way, just so that he's not going to feel the brunt of that rotation quite as much, or at least he's forced to defend it before going for that sort of move. Hasn't been the most successful in securing creeps, though, off the back of it. It's really just protect tower as much as possible. I wonder if Anchorad actually looks to make another move, but again, Coil's still got 30 seconds on cooldown, so even a TP to the side lanes would feel pretty ineffective.
So bad. Gilgear is definitely ready for this one. They're even going to try and tip in the puck as well, so Ankrad's going to be able to shut this one down. So bad's doing a pretty good job at dragging over the neutrals. Looks like he still will be killed off nonetheless. Now, do they get... Oh, alright, Gilgear's going to take it. Now, does Ankrad get the wisdom? Yeah, so he does.
He has to.
I've been liking this move a little bit more now, seeing mid laners rotate over. I mean, often it's a free kill if you have a support there to play with and refill in the bottle, and even experience is nice. And of course, at least the other support's going to be able to get it as well.
Yeah, Malrine does the right thing, though. Like, yes, it's a big rotation to be able to secure a kill. It probably would have felt a lot better if Puck got it, just because in that time, Pango's able to build up like a 400 net worth lead already off the back of that regen rune and just constantly shoving that wave in. So if you're going to make that move, you better be... have the lane position on point and realize that you just cannot stay up there for quite some time. I gotta say, I'm still a little confused about Munkushi's skill build. He's got 3 points, Jing, despite the fact that CM really hasn't given him this.
It's a bit cool to 2. Is no one gonna die? Hang on a second. Hellscream might still go down to the orb. Malrain's gonna try and do some work out of the Rolling Thunder. Pantoma gets knocked up to the high ground. Oh, back down, but it's not gonna matter. Malrain able to secure the kill, even wanting more as well. He's gonna be cautious now. Swashbuckle up in a couple of seconds. Ankrad's lacking the meta. Even wanted to go in for the finishing blow, but Gilgear was able to sidestep that last attempt.
So that's one of those instances where... Oh, well, we'll be able to get the bottle refill up in that mid lane. Nicely done. That's one of those instances where I really feel like maybe he hasn't played a ton of the CM on this new patch on Panto, just because that's the sort of period where you want to be using the Frostbite onto the Pango, right as he's about to potentially break out of the Rolling Thunder and go for that kill onto you with the Swashbuckle and the Shield Crash, right? Because that probably would have held him in place enough time for Gilgear and Ankrad to be able to secure the kill back onto him.
Precious bounty.
Does seem like Nemiga want to start playing around their Death Prophet though. Level 6 is at the ready, so a huge power spike, and of course, like you said, the potential to be able to take these early towers. Radiant, they're going to try and read this and make their own move. I believe it was a smoke under the Dire Observer Ward, so Nemiga being able to back off accordingly. Now, let's see if they want to bring some extra members in. So bad's already starting to rotate through to the Twin Gate, so they'll have the Rubik as well for this fight down bottom.
Do you think they could have moved top, or do you think this was their one move?
Alright, back on the way. And meanwhile, I mean, with the fight we're going to have down bottom, it means Afterlife and Violence should be free farming top. So at least they're going to be happy.
Hellscream knows he's about to die.
The angle in his life, mate. He will end up going down. Ankrad committed with the Jaunt. So get some distance away. They'll be able to chase down Pantomim instead. So, but this Exo committed. Let's see what Wonder Move want to do now as a response to this. Oh, I love this from Munkushi.
Yep.
Drags the wave, making sure they're not going to have creeps to play with to help out with the push.
It does feel like that might waste a big portion of this Exo. Again, they've got another 5 seconds to be able to utilize, and well, you've got another wave coming into the tower now, but it won't kill it, right? Like, the glyph should be enough to be able to only get a couple of seconds of exorcism value into this, and now with CM, like, she's got full mana to be able to come back to this, not even wanting to risk going into the tower, going into the outpost instead, so nicely done. They look to get a bit of a turnaround kill happening here. Again, they know Panto's here.
Jesus, Malrun's doing so much damage. His treads and Orb of Corrosion. Panto's going to be killed off once again. Munkushi's going to try and make amends. And we'll even bring some extra members down with Afterlife rotating. Got the RP at the ready, but the Rolling Thunder's going to stop that short. Malrun secures the kill, and now they're going to look over to the Magnus as well. Caught out inside the trees is Nemiga. Fine 3 with 0 casualties.
Yeah, and well, they won't have the Exo, but they've got a Siege Creep now, and there's no glyph that they're having to worry about either. Siege Creep at the moment hitting into the other Siege Creep, so not going to be doing too much pushing, but it'll be too long until they get the real value out of that. And this is pretty key, right? Gilgear going for the arrow, but the damage has been done. Tower secured. I really feel like I don't want to put too much onto one person, but I'm not seeing the value in Munkushi going that multiple points in Jingu, right? Like, he was left solo for quite some time. They haven't really gotten any value of this CM in this dual lane, which is supposed to be a heavy kill lane. Even if he just got the 1 point in the Primal Spring, he leveled it up at level 6. Maybe you're able to get that gap close that they needed. But even just the slow, like 20% slow early on is really significant.
Yeah. I had to restart. Who got the kills? Was it the Death Prophet, and did he get the tower as well?
Tower went to Melrine. Death Prophet got 2 kills.
Okay, because before that fight, Mag was top net worth. So that rotation down really hurt Afterlife. Like, I was going to say for one movers, just going to hold that thought, potential fight mid lane. I was going to say, like, Afterlife is balling out. He could be a really big issue as this game goes on to maybe being like this scaling Magnus, but he's taken a huge hit in the net worth.
He really has. I mean, he was almost so on point with that skewer into the RP, right? But Pango obviously still does damage, you know, might still take now 50% damage while in the Rolling Thunder, but he's still going to stun you while he's going through it. And Nemiga, even without that Exo, they want to keep this pressure up on the top side, maybe baiting out some kind of a rotation, because Vajra, he's got his Exo back up again too.
They're mirroring the movement. They're going to be a little bit too late though. It looks like Skewer gets hanked, so now put on cooldown.
Ooh!
He'll still be able to land the
Stolen.
RP. He does get stolen though. So they have this now for the team fight if it does end up breaking out.
Didn't even need to use Exo. They could look to take it if
go
they
in.
really want.
It's a pretty good silence, but where's the damage follow-up? Mechanism applied, instantly repairing all of the puck's damage, and now they're going to be able to consider about chasing down Panto, but Nemiga very happy with what they've got and securing the tower along with the kill onto the Magnus, and they still have the RP, of course, so that could be another play that we see come out from them shortly.
Everything's going right for Nemiga right now. I mean, they're just making a lot of really solid moves, and I mean, the Wisdom Runes went 1-1, but right now I've got a Rubik that's almost level 7, you've got a Techies that's almost level 7, and CM and Mirana still just level 5, so it really doesn't feel like they're enabled to make too many rotations around as well. Even just for Gilgear, right? Like, him having level 7 is pretty damn important. You know, most of the times when you're playing a puck, you want a support that's able to deal damage when you land that Dream Coil, but the fact that they haven't been able to do that and the lanes have pretty much already dissolved means that it's going to be a lot harder for this, like, relatively decent damage trio of CM, Puck, and Mirana to actually secure kills. Especially once Vajra gets that Greaves as well.
Yep. Because we've already seen the issue, so then you get the Greaves and maybe even extra ore item on top of that.
I wonder if he's even going to pop Exo to this stack that he's built up for himself. Wouldn't hate it, but might just look to spend it.
Whoa, hang on, that's a lot of damage with the freezing field, but it's like it's not going to matter. Wasn't enough with the puck follow-up to be able to get the kill on some Melrine. So DD.
A double damage with Diffusal Blade and a Spark of Courage is just going to rip CM a new one, unfortunately.
Denied.
476 physical damage in just a single swashbuckle hit.
He's got an interesting read of the Pango. I don't see many others go for this treads as Vajra. Pretty ambitious bench drop to the higher ground. He might be penalized for that. Mechanism's going to keep him healthy at the moment. They're fighting inside the Wukong's command. Is Mukushi strong enough to be able to turn it back around? Is Vajra falling lower and lower? They'll secure the kill in the end. A pretty decent fight for one move, but more of Nemiga rotating over as Violent with the Blade Fury might have the damage. RP is going to be used defensively to get some separation back over inside the jungle. Arrow connects on Melrine, but there is no one else to play with. It's now Gilgear. He's going to be chased deep behind the tier 2 tower, but Nemiga will think otherwise. So in the end, it's still going to favor Dire. They get the puck kill along with the monkey kill as well.
It was a wasted exorcism, so, you know, little things, you know, being able to pull from that one. And the net worth lead slightly closed in as well, so obviously on the back of one of those kills, I believe, giving over, yeah, the dominating streak from Vajra, giving it to Ankred. He's the one that you want to be able to get this, just to be able to build up a little bit more of his damage, get those levels. So now he's got maxed out Waiting Rift, maxed out Illusory Orb, he's got a Witch Blade and an Arcane Ring to be able to play around. He just wants that Blink Dagger so that he can really look to maximize the utility out of Gilgear and Panto. I kind of want to see, it depends how close he is. I want to see Gilgear hold on to as many of these leap charges as possible.
Ooh, Hell Scream. Even better coil from Akrad. Gonna be able to hold them into place. Gilgi's gonna jump in. What's going on both sides? 2 for 2. A lot of damage between the heroes. In the end, I guess Puck's gonna be pretty happy. I mean, Melram was also there as well, so a lot of golden experience given over to the Pango.
But that's the sort of thing that this trio is capable of doing, right? A Puck, Mirana, and CM can do that sort of thing. What I was just talking about was needing multiple leap charges because they really don't have a way to be able to get out of that Dream Coil at this point in time, right? So as long as he lands it, you can double leap in from super safe distance, land the Starstorm, and that's probably the extra damage that you need to actually secure kills at this stage of the game. At least until you get into things like, you know, the pipe, you're fighting into the Greaves, you've got BKBs and stuff like that to be able to protect yourselves. Looks like Techies is actually the one building into the pipe, freeing up DP to be a little bit more of that damage source.
Yep. That's going to help with the scaling as well, right, for Vajra with the Kyron Sanj. So, it's up a pretty solid game for 1 and 3. Got the extra backup, almost level 12 as well. So this is going to be able to open up the pit for Nemiga with a successful fight.
Oh no.
Because it's a good position for Roche to be in currently as well. I'm going to see them try and smoke. They're going to run into Vajra. Probably not the ideal target they'd like to have as that first point of contact.
Man's too tanky right now.
Without a doubt, they're going to be able to shrug it off and now turn to Gilgir. He's going to be back up in a couple seconds. Mankushi is nearby, perching up on a tree. It's a pretty decent Wukong's command. They got the quarter forward as well, but the silence prevents the Blade Fury. Violent goes down, and there's the team fighting prowess like we were expecting out of one move. All they needed was one fight with everything in conjunction together, and they're going to be able to come out on top.
Grad's getting so unlucky with these these rune positions, though. Feels like they're at every single rune that he's not. Oh, they're actually going to commit onto
Can they blow
this.
him up?
Can they chain him? Harvest Man protecting him. Just the one at the moment. Getting rid of some vision around that top rune. And the only reason Ankrab was even in a risky position to begin with was that he was busy sending back one of his neutral creeps at the time. So he got caught out standing perfectly still in that lane, but I mean, again, the overall overwhelming team fight coming through from one move. They got 4 heroes with incredibly strong team fight, and a Mirana with the Moonlight Shadow to be able to set ideal fights off the back of the Moonlight Shadow.
Yeah, and that fight just stops a lot of momentum, right? Because it was starting to get to a position where it was a little bit scary. Like Nemiga, if they, with the slight advantage they had, they could have gotten a kill and turned it into Roche. Violent again. Down to half, but this time he's got so bad to play with.
It's going to be a pretty significant timing once Violent hits into that Manta style, right? You won't need to deal with the silence from the Puck. You'll be able to get off a much more reliable use of the Blade Fury and the Omni Slash. Don't really care about Frostbite either. But again, the issue for mine is still like how you securing a lot of these kills. I think that's always going to be the issue. And it's not like Jug is a natural BKB builder, so he's still going to be a little worried about the Puck's Dream Coil. Same sort of thing with the Pango, honestly.
This is a huge tier 2 tower if Nemiga going to be able to take it. No Death Prophet here, but with Roche soon going to go towards that bottom side of the map, you'd love to be able to open up this side even more.
I mean, he can just go through the Twin Gate and then join up with the boys. Seems like that's the case for Vajra after taking away the Watcher. Never mind, psyched out, going into the top line. They're going to make a move of their own with, again, the roaming trio, Ankrad, Panto. Gilgir a little bit slower to be able to join through with the rest of them, and I really feel like they've got enough stuff to be able to cancel out a freezing field that you can't just rely on that damage coming through.
Alright, that's a pretty big item. So the Blink just completed for the Rubik, so you got that easy way to start. To get the jump onto the Puck, who has had a pretty solid game so far. 3-1-6 from Ankrad. It's really going to be a pivotal hero inside the fights to enable the Monkey King and kind of enable the Magnus to be able to... all eyes turn to this next Roche. It feels like both sides have the potential to be able to take it down. So what do we need to pay attention for someone to come out on top in that engagement?
It depends who's got the aggressive front, right? Like, oh, they might be able to get a single pick off here onto the techies. Is that going to be enough, though? Just a little slow on the arrow coming through from Gilgear, and now they know that there's no Dream Coil available, so I wonder if that's going to enable them to make a move. Melreen as well, he's level 15, picks up the Aghanim Scepter with this timing as well. So maybe they're going to be feeling overly confident with this, but of course, whenever you're fighting around a small enclosed area, especially with how tiny the Roche Pit is these days, the threat of that RP and even just the freezing field and the Wukongs is really present.
This ward is huge.
I think
They
they
just
know.
got pinged out, yeah. Looks like they've got the read, but it might be a little bit too late. Nemiga is starting to press forward. Orb's going to scout out multiple members. They're going to be able to play accordingly, but Nemiga have all control. The only way for one move to get it back is a smoke to enter this side of the map, because, again, they are under threat of Nemiga just stealing Roche.
It really still, to me, feels like Nemiga... This is such a ballsy play, man. You know all of the team fight that you're going up against. They've taken long enough that Ankrat's going to have that Dream Coil up in just 10 seconds, but how quickly can they make this move to be able to contest Roshan? It's a 4-man smoke. There isn't anyone in position to be able to break this either. They're all full on committing into this.
They might still be able to fight. Even if Roche gets claimed, they should know Exo's going to be forced for it.
They'll see it definitely with Munkushi here.
He's got so much vision to play with.
Oh, they missed the
they're
coil.
off the mark. Afterlife's still able to find a big
And they're not
RP.
connected.
They're going to try and drag it back to the Wukongs, but he's out of range. Not the fight that they were looking for on one move, and now Nemiga can tear them apart as a Rolling Thunder goes in one by one. They get clean down as Violent. Triple kill for the Juggernaut. What a disastrous fight for one move. Just everything went wrong for them.
There was a lot of second guessing that happened, right? Like, they second guessed whether they should smoke. It took them probably 3 to 5 seconds too long. They took a really long pathway towards the Roche Pit, so they couldn't get there before it actually falls down. It's understandable. You don't want to take the most obvious way because it's just going to get popped. But yeah, even in that last fight, right, only, I think, 3 of them were willing to commit. The puck misses the coil. No one connects through straight on top of that RP. And it really does fall apart once you're able to get off a lot of these protective spells. Good value out of the healing ward as well in that fight on the Juggernaut.
Who's having a exceptional game. 4-1 and 2, top of the net worth. Level 15 as well, so went for the healing ward cooldown. What a performance we're seeing out of Violent in this game one. He's going to be a really big issue as this game continues on. What does he even go for next? 2,700 gold in the bank? What would we like out of the job?
Ooh. I mean, I wouldn't hate a Blink Dagger, to be honest. Just to be able to, like, if... Because your initiation still is on the back of something like a Pango, right? As soon as you see the CM, like, launch out a Crystal Nova, for example, to be able to protect a creep wave, you just run in on the DP and then instantly blink on top of CM. What's she gonna do? Frostbite you? You just spin, you're all good.
They got on me?
Kushi.
Up into...
Kushi's a little
Yeah.
deep.
Are scanning.
It's gone Scardy instead. Alright. Feels pretty good.
I think we could see Blink like 4th, 5th item on Violent. Butterfly. Okay. Pretty good butter game versus the Mag versus the Monkey. These are MKB builders, but still it's going to take a while. They need a lot of items.
This game can still turn around, though. Like,
Yep, no doubt.
Top tower.
they've taken away the Tormentor. Who ended up getting it? Rubik. I mean, that feels pretty decent, right? Just giving a free Aghanim Shard over to a Rubik who's now able to protect against things like the Dream Coil. It's still going to snap it, but you'll get someone to such a safe distance.
Alright. I'll run into Afterlife. That's really nearby. Violent might try and force them back. They're still going to be cautious, though, because multiple heroes are showing on the other side. As Alright, it's in some trouble. Rolling Thunder's going to be activated. Now one move, they're going to get out. Ankrat should be able to escape, but... Do they not see him? Okay, looks like they did. Glimpse of the Magnus. Making it really awkward. He might be able to TP. Is there going to be any stuns to cancel it?
Could have.
It's going to be a little bit too late, though. They'll chase him down. Meanwhile, over towards the side, Munkushi. A BKB TP out. So bad with that Soul and Frostbite. Forced the response out of the Monkey, so not the BKB you were hoping for.
Got to be careful on So Bad. Doesn't want to enable the auto cast on the Boundless Strike now that he's got the active shard. Otherwise, he's just launching himself into. Yeah, I was watching it too. Even the healing ward, not enough to be able to protect him.
That's a
DP
nice
getting that is huge. Yeah. I mean, now it's not like Mukushi is going to be fighting without popping the BKB and the Wukongs, but I mean, it just reinforces the fact that you're going to absolutely need this one.
So like you said, there's definitely potential for one move to turn this game around, but is it starting to get to the stage where it's a little bit scary? Like, we haven't seen the greatest signs of
More
life
than a
for
little
them.
bit, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, you get all of your team fight spells working in conjunction. You get an Empower on your Monkey King that can now be Solar Crested by Guild Gear. You could blow people up, for sure. It's just a question of, like, can all of that stuff happen? And, you know, you've always got the threat now of this Aegis still got 30 seconds on it. They're going to pop the Exorcism as well to force them not to get this next big item, to force them to have to defend. And well, there's going to be at least a tier 3 tower down. I wonder if they can feel like they can hold it for long enough.
Man, it's huge. They see that the Rubik's not here. They gotta go.
They missed it, though. They missed it again.
It's a minor window they had. Mukushi still considering, is Vajra the target? That's a
They'll see
beefy
that
death profit.
2 seconds. 2 seconds on Aegis.
They're going to be able
It's
to time
gone.
it perfectly, but still with the Omni-Slash full protected for the moment. It's on to Afterlife. RP is going to hold him deep inside
Stolen.
the base. They need the boys to protect Violent. Are they going to be able to do so in the nick of timing? Violent's
Stolen.
alive. Stolen RP. They won't even get the Juggernaut. Oh, no, no, no. And they call it So Bad. The stolen RP to force him to tap out of that game one. What a final fight for Nemiga.
A really, really solid one. A lot of people remember, you know, don't let the name fool you. So Bad, he was on the roster with the boys from Yellow Submarine, and
Yes,
you know, those some players from a team. I'm not sure if you've heard about them, but Team Spirit. You know, he obviously wasn't there for the full glory, but when they were looking good back in, I want to say it was ESL 1 Germany, their first big tournament together online during the COVID era, he was a big part of why they had this big upward rise. So the man can play Dota. He is not so bad. He is so good, as evidenced by that last fight there. Constant, really solid steals with the RP, and yeah, showing why this Rubik is a really solid pick for them just to have in the early stages of this draft.
It's got to be said, it felt like that Roche fight was really the pivotal moment this game. Sure, there was a lot of other points leading up to it, but that one in particular was where this game completely turned around. Just the honestly, it was a disastrous fight. Nothing went their way. Spells were all off the mark, and then Nemiga, all they needed was just one advantage with that Aegis. They got all the map control. They never looked back from there.
I just don't know how they didn't kill the Jug at the end, man. Like, he was so deep inside the base, away from the rest of the team, and they timed it perfectly, you know, their go on him. Like, the Aegis expired, he was Omni-Slash, didn't get a ton of damage out off the back of it, but just, again, the lack of damage was the big concern for mine. They never really came online. I think this is something that I think Mukushi especially will wish that he had his time again this game. Not the worst scoreline, 3-4-3, but I'm not really sure what a Diffusal Blade does this game versus something like, I don't know, a Desolator or something like that. Just to really blow someone up off the back of your Empower, to use that power to be able to push out waves a little bit more effectively, to give yourselves a little bit more tower push as well, and even just the skill build in the lane, right? I think he went 1-1, no, he went 2-0-3, so 3 points in the Jingu Mastery when he didn't have anyone to play with. You're not hitting anyone to give you that, so I think that was a pretty big mistake from him.
Yeah, overall for one move, hoping they can get another game, and luckily for enough, we got a best of 3, so they can sweep this one aside, maybe adapt from it a little bit, but of course look towards that next game, because we still have a way for them to be able to come back in. And again, they are 2-0 as well overall, so after a strong start, can they continue with that start now that they are down 0-1? Are they going to be able to find a way back in? We'll find out after the break.